And one of his main arguments is that systemic racism just doesn't exist.
But there's a lot of research out there that says it does.
Right.
Both from sociological and historical studies.
Right. So how do you square that?
Yeah.
Is he ignoring it?
Or does he have a different understanding?
Right. Or does he think it works differently than everyone else does?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I also think it's interesting that the main character, Samantha White,
Yeah.
she has a secret white boyfriend.
Mm.
And her black friends don't approve.
Okay.
It brings up a lot of questions.
Yeah, about what we expect
Right.
from different racial groups.
Right. About identity
Yeah.
and loyalty.
And how society pressures us.
Exactly. And then what about interracial relationships?
Yeah, do they help or hurt?
Right. Are they good or bad?
Yeah. Do they challenge norms?
Exactly.
Or do they actually just create more division?
Right.
It's complicated.
It is complicated.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to 6. Being white is a disease.
Being white is a disease.
Okay.
So in this one, he critiques this satirical infomercial.
Okay.
And it's with John Hamm.
Yeah, and it's promoting this fake treatment for white thoughts.
Oh.
Avalon, of course, mocks the entire thing, saying it's racist and hypocritical to say that, being white is a disease.
Yeah, I can see that.
But the infomercial is using humor
Right.
to comment on white privilege and racist thought patterns.
Right. And he's saying you can't attribute
Right.
negativity to an entire race.
Right. And he's basically saying it's racist to say that.
Okay.
But is he missing the point?
The satirical point.
Right. It is satire.
Yeah.
But then there's this part
Okay.
where they're saying that white thoughts are like denying racism
Okay.
and being suspicious of a Guatemalan housekeeper.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think Avalon really addresses that.
Yeah.
I mean, how do those internal biases work?
Right. And is it important to acknowledge them?
Or is Avalon right to just dismiss them?
Yeah, because internal biases,
I think a lot of times they are.
unconscious.
Right.
And really ingrained.
And it can be uncomfortable to admit to them.
To even recognize them in yourself.
Right.
But if we don't, then how could we address them?
Right.
And if we don't address them, then
You just keep going.
they lead to discriminatory behavior.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
7. Wimpy hipster bashes white people.
All right.
So this one, he targets this video by Matt Lee.
Okay.
And Matt Lee is arguing that the phrase, it's okay to be white, is actually racist
Okay.
because it's linked to white supremacist groups.
All right.
So Avalon mocks Lee, mocks his appearance, mocks his arguments,
Okay.
and says that he hates white people.
Oh.
He says that the phrase is just a statement of fact and that Lee is twisting it to fit his liberal agenda.
But doesn't that bring us back to that idea of context and intent?
Right.
The same phrase.
Right. Depending on who says it.
Could mean totally different things.
Exactly.
Depending on who's saying it and why.
Right. How do you know?
Right.
What's their real intention?
Yeah.
Now, there is one really interesting point that Lee brings up.
Okay.
He says that whiteness itself is a construct that's designed to exclude black people.
Okay.
Avalon kind of brushes that off.
Right.
But it does bring up all these questions.
Yeah, like how do we form
Right.
racial identity?
Right.
And do power structures play a role in that?
Right, because I think a lot of academics agree
Right.
that race isn't biological.
It's a way of categorizing.
Right, and who benefits.
Right.
And who gets hurt.
Exactly.
So we've seen a lot from Avalon, right?
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
He uses satire, he uses statistics, he often uses pretty inflammatory language.
Yeah, to go after these
Right, to critique
people.
their ideas.
Right, and he's consistently saying that anyone who calls out racism is the real racist.
Right, and he downplays any
Right.
systemic issues.
And it seems like there's a pattern here.
Yeah,
He has a different set of rules.
right, a double
Yeah.
standard.
For those he agrees with versus those he disagrees with.
Exactly.
And he's always accusing people of being overly sensitive.
Right.
But then he uses this really strong language.
Right, so the question is, how does content like this actually influence
The way we talk about
the way we talk about race
and equality.
and equality online?
Yeah. Does using humor make these topics easier to talk about?
Right.
Or does it just trivialize them?
Yeah, and does it contribute to the division? Because,
Yeah.
online can be a really tough place
Oh, for sure.
to have these kinds of conversations.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Right.
The internet can be great because it connects us,
Right.
but it can also amplify these extreme viewpoints
Yeah.
and make it hard to really
To have a real discussion.
have a nuanced conversation.
Right.
It's tough.
So it makes you think, what's the responsibility of content creators?
Especially when you have a big platform.
Because,
Yeah.
just provoking people, getting that reaction, does that equal effective communication?
Right. And does that just make the problem worse?
Right. Or does it just
Yeah.
make the divides deeper?
Yeah. What do you think?
It's tricky because sometimes humor can be good, right? Because it can expose something that's absurd or hypocritical, but then it can also be used to just belittle people and dismiss them.
And with race, it's
right. And with race,
it's sensitive.
Exactly. The stakes are so much higher.
For sure.
You can't just, say something really inflammatory and expect everyone to just be okay with it.
Yeah. Not everyone can take a joke.
Right.
Especially about something so personal.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like
trying to find that balance.
I feel like you have to be really careful about the words you use and how you frame your arguments.
Yeah.
Because even if you have good intentions, if you end up just alienating everyone.
Yeah, pushing everyone away.
Yeah.
What have you really accomplished?
It all comes back to intent versus impact, doesn't it?
Right.
You might have good intentions, but if the impact is negative, then you need to rethink things.
Exactly. And sometimes it's hard to see that.
Yeah, sure.
When you're in it.
Yeah, you're so focused.
Right. You're so focused on your message.
On getting your point across that you don't realize how it's landing.
Okay, so I think one of the really interesting things about Avalon is how he uses statistics.
Okay.
For example, he'll cite data on white poverty and suicide rates to argue against white privilege.
Right, but he doesn't talk about.
Right, but he never actually goes into
those underlying factors.
Right, like what are the systemic reasons why those things might exist?
Yeah, it's like he's picking and choosing.
Right. It's
what supports his view.
Cherry picking, right.
Exactly. He's ignoring the bigger picture. Right, he's ignoring the context.
The interconnectedness.
And the fact that these things are all linked.
Of these issues.
Right, and systemic racism isn't just about
individual prejudice.
Right, it's not just about like, oh, you were mean to me.
Right.
It's about, all these historical and ongoing structures that create this inequality.
And the historical part is important.
Right, you can't just erase history.
Because it's still impacting us today.
Right, it's like looking at a single tree and saying, well, this tree is healthy, so the entire forest must be thriving.
Right, but what about the soil?
Right.
What about the ecosystem?
Right, what about the history of this forest?
Exactly. You can't just look at one isolated thing.
You can't just look at one element.
And make assumptions about the whole.
Right, because that one tree might be thriving.
Right.
But everything around it could be dying.
Exactly. And this brings us to anecdotal evidence.
Right.
Which we see a lot online.
Right. And it's so easy to fall into that trap.
Oh, yeah?
Because someone says, well, I know a black person who's successful.
So racism can't be that bad?
Right.
But that ignores the countless stories of people who haven't been so lucky.
Right. Who have actually faced.
Who have faced barriers and discrimination.
Right.
That they couldn't overcome.
It's like assuming that everyone has an equal chance to win the lottery.
Exactly.
Just because you know someone who won.
Right.
It ignores the fact that the system itself is designed
to create those inequalities.
To create winners and losers.
And to keep those in power.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's a thread we see throughout Avalon's videos.
Right.
He focuses on individual cases, especially ones that fit this narrative of reverse racism against white people.
But he doesn't look at those bigger systems.
Right. And it's often a way to avoid those more meaningful conversations.
Okay. So it's like he's creating this false equivalent
between individual prejudice and these deeply ingrained patterns of discrimination that have shaped our society.
It's like saying a stubbed toe is just as bad as a broken leg.
Exactly.
And being like, well, you're both in pain.
Right. It's minimizing one experience.
When it's like, no, they're not the same.
They're not the same at all.
And it makes you wonder, I mean, does he really believe this?
That's the $1 million question.
Is it more about performance?
Right. Is it more about
a provocation?
Right. Getting a reaction.
It's hard to know what's going on in someone else's head.
Right. Yeah. And that's always the challenge, right? Yeah. Because, we see what he puts out there, but we don't know
what his true motivations are.
Right.
Is he trying to spark debate?
Right.
Or is he just trying to get views and make money?
Right.
It's possible.
And then you think about his viewers, right?
Yeah. What are they taking away from this?
Because if this is what they're watching, and this is how they're learning about these issues.
Right. How is that shaping their understanding?
It's like if your only source of information about a country was a reality TV show.
Okay.
Would you have an accurate picture of that country?
Right. You probably think
everyone's fighting all the time.
Right. Everyone's screaming. There's all this drama.
Yeah.
But that's not real life.
No. It's a very skewed perspective.
And so I worry that with content like Avalon's, it might be entertaining,
right,
but it could lead to a very distorted understanding of these issues.
Because it's lacking context.
Right. It's lacking the nuance.
It's lacking the full picture.
Exactly. And it could actually reinforce
existing biases.
Right. And make it harder to
have a real conversation.
To have a productive dialogue.
Yeah. It's like you get trapped in this echo chamber where everyone's just shouting their opinions.
Right.
And no one's actually listening.
And no one's really thinking critically.
Right.
Okay. So where do we go from here? That's the big question. Because it seems
like it's really hard to talk about race online.
Right.
In a way that's productive.
Right.
And respectful.
Right.
And it seems like, a lot of times people are more interested in scoring points than actually understanding each other.
Right.
And finding common ground.
Right. It's more about being right than about actually having a conversation.
Yeah. And listening.
Right.
Which is so important.
Right. So I think what we really need is media literacy and critical thinking skills.
Yes.
Because you're going to see stuff like Avalon's
for sure
all over the place.
Yeah. You have to be able to sort through it all.
And figure out what's real, what's not.
What's biased.
Right. What's the agenda.
What's the motivation.
Right. And who's benefiting from this.
And who's being harmed.
Right. Exactly.
So you have to be careful.
Yeah. It's not about just taking everything at face value.
Right. You can't just passively consume everything.
You have to be an active participant.
Exactly.
In the conversation.
And not just a consumer.
Right. You have to ask questions. You have to challenge your own assumptions.
Yeah.
And I think that's really hard to do.
It is. It's a lot of work.
Especially online.
Yeah, because it's so easy to just react emotionally.
Right. And it's designed for that.
It is.
It's designed to get you riled up.
That's for sure.
And get you to click and share.
To keep you scrolling.
Right. So you have to be really aware of that.
You have to be aware of how these platforms are designed.
Okay, so let's go back to Avalon's use of humor.
Okay.
Because in some of his videos, it seems like he's trying to use satire to expose hypocrisy or double standards. Right. But then he does it in a way that often feels really offensive and hurtful.
So can you do that effectively?
Right. That's the question.
Can you use satire without being offensive?
Yeah, right. And I think satire can be really powerful.
It can be?
When it's done well.
Yeah.
It can hold up a mirror to society. It can make you think.
It can make you laugh at yourself.
Right. And I think sometimes laughter can be a really good way to process difficult things.
For sure.
But when satire is used to just make fun of people.
Right.
Or to reinforce negative stereotypes.
Yeah. Then it becomes a problem.
Right. Then it's actually contributing to the problem.
It's perpetuating the inequalities.
So it's not just about whether something is funny or not. Yeah. It's about what's the message.
The intent.
Right.
The impact.
And is it causing harm?
Because words can be harmful.
Right. They can be really powerful.
They can have a lasting impact.
It's like that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt.
Yeah, we all know that's not true.
Right. Words can hurt.
They can sting.
They can stay with you.
They can shape how you see yourself.
Right. And they can shape how you see the world.
And they can shape how other people see you.
So I think it's important to be aware of that, especially when you're talking about something as sensitive as race.
For sure.
You know, you have to be really careful.
You have to think about the impact of your words.
And I think sometimes people forget.
They get caught up in the moment
where
they're trying to be funny.
Right.
And they don't realize how it's landing.
Okay, so thinking about all the stuff that's out there online.
Yeah, all the content.
It seems like there's a lot of this kind of
provocative stuff.
Right. Boundary pushing, stuff that's designed to get a reaction.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
I mean, why is that so popular?
Well, I think it's a few things.
Okay.
First, algorithms.
Right.
They love controversy.
Right, because it gets people to engage.
Exactly.
And the more engagement...
The more money.
Right, the more money for the platform.
And the more visibility for the content creator.
So it's a win-win for them.
In a way.
Right, but not necessarily for the rest of us.
Not for society as a whole.
And I think the other thing is, there's not a lot of accountability online.
Right, there's not really an editor.
Right, there's no one saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't say that.
Maybe you should think about this a little more.
Right.
Yeah, it's the Wild West out there.
It really is.
So you have to be your own editor.
Yeah.
You have to be discerning.
You have to be careful what you consume.
And what you share.
Okay, so that brings us back to responsibility. What responsibility do content creators have?
Yeah, especially when they have a big platform.
Right, and they're talking about these really sensitive issues.
Right, like race and racism.
I mean, it's not like talking about, what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Exactly, the stakes are much higher.
Right.
So I think they have a responsibility to be informed, to do their research, to be accurate.
And to think about the impact.
To be mindful of the potential harm they could be causing.
And I think they also have a responsibility
Yeah.
To engage in good faith dialogue.
Right, to actually try to understand different perspectives.
Right, not just to shut people down.
Or to be dismissive.
Right.
Or to spread misinformation.